Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today I would like to share with you the second volume of my Bespoke Suicide Squad collection. This collection was put together by my wife Emma, who is a book artist, and she makes a number of custom graphic novels for me. So this is volume 2, collecting that next set of issues in chronological order, and I'll go through those as we make our way through this amazing book. Front cover is the cover to Suicide Squad Annual Number 1, which is included in this collection. Nice spine tag there. And then the back cover is Suicide Squad 19, which is also in this collection. One of those amazing personal files stories that any fan of Suicide Squad grew to love as they read through the series. So let's dive in and take a look. Very excited. No super elaborate end papers here on this, just a clip from one of the copies of an issue I made, color copy of the cover. I think in the next volume we may do a little something with the end papers. We'll see. Okay, so this, you'll notice the first issue of this collection is actually a Justice League issue because it is a story that coincides or follows the next Suicide Squad issue in the collection follows this story, so I wanted to include it. And that's the benefit of curating your own collection like this. You can throw stuff in like this that the commercial collections just don't do it this way. So this is Justice League 13, story by Giffen and DeMatteis, art by Giffen and Gordon. It's got some cool Keith Giffen art sort of in his transitional period. I like the Al Gordon inks on Keith's pencils here. Very nice stuff. He's a really good storyteller, even in this more simple style that he's using here. Love his Rick Flag and shadow there. So yeah, the new Suicide Squad is about to clash with the newly formed Justice League, and here we have the pretty much the team for this storyline. We have the Duchess, Phantom Girl, Javelin, Bronze Tiger in shadow there, Deadshot, Rick Flag, Captain Boomerang, and Vixen also in shadow. Really cool. In this panel, it's a real great interaction, tension between Deadshot and Rick Flag. Let's can the chatter and move. I'm itching for some action. You want action, Deadshot? Well, I can assure you that's just what you'll get. So we're moving towards a clash here with the Justice League. I love Keith Giffen's Amanda Waller. Large and in charge. Very cool. And she is walking in the halls of power here in this page. And she knows her way around that, and she knows her way around the gritty world of villains turned superheroes. Here we have our first look at the Justice League, another panel sort of outlining who's going to be on the team in this issue. Booster Gold, Black Canary, Mr. Miracle, Martian Manhunter, Batman, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Rocket Red, and Blue Beetle, and Oberon for good measure. Max Lord. So this issue is mainly set up. Of course, the Justice League was famous for these face-to-face confrontations. It's a good Keith Giffen aping Kevin Maguire there very well. There's a lot of setup going on, and the whole point of this mission is Suicide Squad's trying to rescue their captured teammate Nemesis, who was left behind in Russia in the Soviet Union during the mission, the Fate of the Firebird issues 6, 7, and 8. Oh, love this full page of the two teams confronting each other. Mainly we get Suicide Squad here, and I'm all about this Giffen art in this issue. It's really cool. I like it. I love the hulking Duchess, like how big he draws her there. And his Bronze Tiger is excellent too. They all look good. Everybody looks great in this. So they're going to square off, and that is going to come in Suicide Squad 13. So the two series started after Legends. They started around the same time, so their numbers tracked, which was kind of cool. And this is our usual team, Ostrander, McDonald, Lewis. And now we get the confrontation from the other angle. Justice League facing the Suicide Squad. Loved Luke McDonnell's pencils on this series, very cool. And Bob Lewis was a good inker. Not as good on Luke as Carl Kessel, but few inkers are as good as Carl Kessel. I also love the contributions of Todd Klein, Carl Gafford, the colorist, and Bob Greenberger worked very closely with John Ostrander to put a very unique stamp on this. Great confrontation here between Batman and Deadshot. Justice showing off her muscles. Very cool. And this is Guy Gardner after he's been concussed, so he's much less of a jerk. But he's not very aggressive, and they needed that at this point. His Boomerang's having a hard time, though, getting through his Power Rings force field. These two are old friends. They decide to talk and work together. And this issue ends up with a pretty cool fight between Batman and Rick Flag. And Rick Flag is an excellent close combatant, but we'll see that he is not in Batman's class. And this is a nice fight here between Canary and Bronze Tiger. Love Javelin here. Very cool, similar costumes, which is kind of neat. Ham and Egger villain and sort of a Ham and Egger hero here in Booster Gold. Nice shot of Kovar, who used to be Firestar. I covered in the series in my on my show that awesome issue of Teen Titans number 18 that he appears in. Really cool. These two were teammates on Justice League Detroit, so they have a connection. Nice brief confrontation between Deadshot and Mr. Miracle. And here we have the rest of the fight, and it's brutal. Played out over this 12-panel grid here. Totally awesome. Look at the joy in Captain Boomerang's face, seeing these two people that he hates beat the heck out of each other. Pretty awesome. Nice Power Girl ad here. Carrie Gammill. Back to the story. So yeah, they've assured them that Nemesis will be released, so they've actually completed their mission. They grab Rick Flag and get out of there by teleport from Phantom Girl. So very cool. There's Kovar again. Batman, this is his leaving the league. All right, so next issue, we're going to sew up another story. And this is the beginning of some awesome, well, not the beginning. This is another one of those Jerry Bingham, incredible Jerry Bingham covers. Every few issues, he steps in and does some covers for Suicide Squad, and they're totally awesome. I think by this time, he was mainly a cover artist. And Luke McDonnell handles pencils and inks on this one. This one covers the part of the resolution of the Enchantress kind of Nightshade thing with the demon possessing Enchantress. Nightshade is tied into it too. Look at this incredible shading from Luke McDonnell here. Really nice. He's a great layout artist. Interesting figure artist in terms of his figures and the action. And I just thought he was a perfect fit for this series. And all the artists who followed him did a phenomenal job as well. I was a devoted fan. There are a few people they could have put on the book that I wouldn't have found something about them that I liked. But it wasn't hard with artists like Luke McDonnell, Carl Kessel, later John K. Snyder III, which we're going to see in this issue, and Jeff Ursherwood as well, who will come on later. Probably you'll see him featured in the next volume I cover. Drugging Boomerang here. Or maybe he just drank himself unconscious. No, I think they may have drugged him to take him along because he refused to go to help on this mission because they're going into a dimension, an insane demonic dimension. This is pretty cool. So here we have June Moon. The demon inside of her is the Enchantress, and she feels like she's home. This wind's got teeth. Yeah, interesting place, Duchess remarks. She's from Apocalypse, remember. She's actually Lashina. So this is this is like, no, I'm not going to say it's a walk in a park for her, but this isn't anything she hasn't seen before. Look at this tremendous work. Luke is really excellent on this occult sort of imagery that he's putting down here. And this is awesome. They wind up in this temple. Very cool. Oh, this is great too. This, the dude that gave June her powers, let her become the Enchantress. You sure you brought us to the right place? Yes, what's he doing here? You should not have come here, child. You or sister self, trap set by incubus. And it's crazy how he just disintegrates here. And I love this panel here. It's totally awesome, showing the horror and just fear on the faces of these characters. Just brilliant. And of course, right here we have an incredible house ad for The Killing Joke and Brian Boland taking the Joker up to 11 and breaking the knob off. Back to our story. Squad gets imprisoned, and we have a nice cliffhanger. Next issue, Devil to Pay. We have our letter column, suicide notes. We'll be visiting that a little later in this volume. And we have issue 15, another fantastic Jerry Bingham cover. And Bob Lewis is back on this one. I love, almost looks like burn-like on that Enchantress there. It's really nice detail work. Jerry Bingham's a fantastic artist. I would have loved to see him just do one issue. But I think by this point, he wasn't doing a lot of sequential art. After that Demon, that Ra's al Ghul graphic novel that he did, Blood of the Demon, I don't know if he did much sequential stuff after that. Let me know in the comments if you know more about Jerry Bingham's career. Devil to Pay, Ostrander, McDonald, Lewis, Klein, Gafford. This series had creative consistency like you will never see today. You had artists, writers, inkers, colorists, letters, all rowing in the same direction for extended periods of time, for extended issues. And this is the Enchantress's weird demonic brother, I guess the Incubus. Some crazy stuff going on here. This poor kid is being tortured. Really cool. Here's a bunch of fallen angels. So this is actually Phantom Girl's brother, and you can see the similar look. Now that you have returned, dear sister, we can implement that plan. We can? How? By mating, dear sister. So there's some dark stuff in this issue, very dark. And every now and then, like Luke McDonald, he just gives you a little bit of, almost like a little bit of Frank Miller there, just like really cool shot from coming up, like looking up at the character from a lower angle, and the shading and everything is really nice. So June Moon decides to summon the Enchantress to try to break out of this stalemate that's going on here. And does she have power over Incubus? It doesn't look like it. Dear me, sister, have you been encased in that cage of flesh so long that you've forgotten who I am or who you are? Sister, her too? Girl, just how many relatives you got in this place? I love Vixen. Maury McCabe, totally awesome. Great shot of June Moon the Enchantress flying right at you out of the panel there. Yeah, Luke McDonald can lay a page out, man. Yeah, this is great. Totally awesome. Oh, this panel is so cool. I love it. Her wreath in flame, her hat brim, casting her face in shadow. It's just gorgeous. Yeah, so this stuff's incredible. Duchess breaking out here. She recovers her gun, fights this crazy three-headed shadow demon dog, frees the squad. All animalistic natures in this place are subject to my control. So he takes control of Vixen. She starts attacking her own teammates. Deadshot wakes Boomerang up. He's so hungover. Incubus just swats her aside. Oh no, and then he's trying to fulfill his plan, which is extremely uncomfortable. Oh, this is an incredible panel. This is a panel almost worthy of Mike Mignola here. Really cool. Oh, yeah. So Nightshade striking back. And Deadshot solves the problem by putting a bullet in his head, freeing the demon that's inside him. In next issue, we're going to be introduced to a new member of the team, Shade the Changing Man. Incidentally, as with a lot of the books I read on this show, most of these copies were obtained from dollar bins. Most, not all, because surprisingly, Suicide Squad is not easy to find in dollar. I had to go through a lot of dollar bins to find these issues. And like I said, some of them I had to go ahead and pony up on either at Ides or Phantom of the Attic or New Dimension Comics here in Pittsburgh or on eBay. So Nightshade's Odyssey Part 3, another great Jerry Bingham cover, and now we see Shade the Changing Man. So they are shunted from that demonic realm into the realm of Shade the Changing Man. Cool, trippy colors and shapes here on this page. Love it. I'm going to start picking up the pace too, because we'll never be done with so many issues to go through. But I love Luke McDonald's Shade. It's awesome that Ostrander brought this character back out of the mothballs. Here he thinks they fight well, but they're drifting right for the area of madness. Once there, they're doomed to die a shrieking death. And they are the only hope I have right now of escaping the Zero Zone. So here he is. He's trapped in what he calls the Zero Zone. And you can see he's bearded up here because he's in with the long hair, that rocking that mullet. He's been there so long. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the Wall is waiting, and the Squad somehow makes it back. And Wall introduces herself in her own inimitable fashion to Shade the Changing Man. I haven't the time to waste with you, and you haven't the power to keep me. Maybe not, but I can sure make your life difficult. Believe her, mate, she's got lots of practice at that. Shut up, Pooper Butt. The fate of your world may hinge on the success of my mission. Since it is our world, we'd like to hear about it. Mission room, 1/2 hour, end of discussion. So here they all are in their mission theater. And Shade's all cleaned up. We get a little illustration of the difference between the dimensions. So he's going to get the Squad involved for this mission. So apparently some other members of his particular species, his dimension, are on Earth as well, up to some mischief, and the Squad is going to come in and stop them. Great Brian Boland Animal Man cover there, or advertisement. And they break it up. Issue 17, one of their old foes from the first couple of issues, the Jihad, is back. This is a great one. Again, same creative team. Love that consistency. This one's set in New York City. Great splash page by Luke McDonald, Bob Lewis, showing Manhattan. And the Babbed, one of the members of the Jihad, doing her work, making people violent toward each other. Agni, the fire creator, the pyrokinetic. Robin, who had his back broken but now has a special device that lets him walk. 1,000 years more, O Kali. Everyone he kills, he prevents the Kali Yuga another 1,000 years. And then Koshi the Deathless takes over the dead cop, which is cool. He starts to create zombie clones. A new female Jakuli, throwing the explosive javelins, moving at 100 miles an hour. And last but not least, we have Rustam and Ifrit, who was Mind Boggler. They've now reprogrammed her essence into Ifrit, the digital djinn. And then finally we have the awesome Manticore, who's the strong guy of the group. I love, love, love these panels with just very little script, no dialogue, and just sound effects, and just he's just Manticore is wreaking havoc in New York, on the streets of New York. Just totally awesome. Great character design. So the squad's gonna go fight them. They got Captain Cold on this mission, which is kind of cool. I kind of like that they got rid of his hood, so he's a little less cartoonish, fits a little better with the squad's more Black Ops aesthetic. Very cool. Nightshade's new look. She's got her new sort of beefed up demonic powers. And we have issue 18 with a cover by Joe Brzezowski and Carl Kessel, which is kind of neat. Once again, our creative team's the same in this one. And the squad's going to go to Manhattan and put paid. Great ad for Cosmic Odyssey. Mike Mignola, so awesome. They're going to put paid to the jihad in their own inimitable fashion. And these two will have a final showdown coming up in this collection. What we think is a final showdown. Again, they don't waste a lot of dialogue if they don't need it. They let the art do the talking, which is totally great. That's the scripter trusting, John Ostrander trusting Luke McDonnell and Bob Lewis to get the job done. And this is another one of those pages. There's not a lot of exposition or dialogue, but man, the art is just carrying it. This fight between Manticore and Duchess is awesome, and he's not really a match for a Denizen of Apocalypse. And here, Robin is about to kill Ed Koch, mayor of New York. He's at Gracie Mansion, and Bronze Tiger gets in the way. And he easily takes, Robin's no match for him, especially now in his current state where he's only able to walk because of this device, which bypasses the damage that Bronze Tiger could do with spine. Deadshot versus Jakuli, again, no contest. He blows her knee off and then kills her. Captain Cold versus Agni, this is totally great. In the final showdown, he says, "Want to play rough, Pally? Okay, but I gotta tell you something. Hate is cold, hell is cold, and sucker, I am Captain Cold." That's pretty badass. Great shot of the Deadshot limited series, which came out at this time, and I realized that I should have put that in this collection. It should have been in one of these collections. I may have to stick it into another volume. I kind of try to put this stuff in chronological order, so that's my one regret with this collection. Finishing off Manticore there, really cool. Is not including that Deadshot limited series in there. Should have done that. So we got our personal files issue. This is issue 19. That was just issue 18. Now we're on 19. Love the personal files of Simon Legree, where he goes over the various cases. These were always great kind of catch-up issues. After a big storyline, they would do a personal file story, which would kind of visit some of the subplots, some of the supporting cast. And here we have these two characters going at it, these two members of the support staff, Briscoe and this maintenance guy who's actually gay, Safosky. And so this is one of the first openly gay characters really in comics, and in mainstream comics anyway. And it's treated in a very adult fashion and with a lot of respect and love, and that's one thing that John Ostrander and later his writing partner Kim Yell, his wife that would continue throughout the series. Oh, she's beautiful here. I love this art. So awesome. This is the new Nightshade, who now has a demon inside of her. And here we have the Wall calling Duchess looking at the footage from issue 3, I believe, when the female Furies attacked um, the prison where the Suicide Squad makes their base, Belle Reve, and she confronts her with this irrefutable image, really, evidence. Group's called the Female Furies. They almost got clear when two of the band got into a catfight as we let go with a heavy armament. Watch what happens. So there she is being blown clear. We didn't catch who got hit, and we never recovered any body, and we looked. Maybe there was nothing left to be found. I don't know. I think she was tougher than that, don't you, Lashina? So she just puts it right out there. Lashina, who's that? Me? I don't remember who I am. I got amnesia, remember? So they're going to play this game. It's going to come back to bite the wall, though, badly. Pretty cool. So next issue is a Mirror Master. We have some cool internal ads. Really great, too. Suicide Notes was literally the best letters page in comics. It was totally awesome. It was in every issue. They were faithful. They had a dialogue with the fans. It was great. It was a community, and we all felt it. And we didn't have ready internet access at this time, so this was it. This was how we communicated. And here's that annual, totally awesome. It's got Graham Nolan artwork. I think a Graham Nolan cover as well. Yeah, and Tim DeZahn inks. So this is the long lost story of Argent, which used to be part of the Suicide Squad. It was like a branch of the Suicide Squad, and what happened to Argent. And so the team has to go on a mission with Manhunter to try and figure it out. And boy, the Graham Nolan's an incredible penciler. He did a lot of good work for DC at this time period and moving forward into the 90s. Oh, miscolored hair there. I love this. These two going at it a little bit. And again, letting the panels, the art do the heavy lifting here as they infiltrate this base. Really cool. And we see the minions of Cobra are involved. And someone's put a hit out on the wall, and it's this woman who actually got them the job. She's betrayed them. And here, Duchess is going to work. But the squad is especially effective in these situations going against these minions. And Nemesis, now back in the States, is doing his job. He was a decoy, heavily armored decoy. I love too how he has a armored skull cap too, just to guard against any errant headshots. Love this VTOL plane too, really nice. And the actual head of Argent has been dead for years. Cool. And we have another visit from Keith Giffen in this backup story here, where the Wall is dealing with her daughter and her daughter's professional football player boyfriend. And great panel here showing their relative size. She puts him in his place. Pretty awesome. And so now we have the Mirror Master story where he supposedly joins the squad. And we're back to our usual creative team, which is great. Captured here by Manhunter. But is this really Mirror Master? It's not. It's actually Captain Boomerang, who's conveniently away from the prison on leave, I guess. And so he was trying to commit crimes as Mirror Master, his old partner who was killed or presumed dead. and using his equipment so he could still have a life of crime and serve the squad on the quote-unquote straight and narrow. So he was trying to have it both ways. So, okay, here now we have, I forgot about this. This is how he tries to solve the problem. He's got the bracelet on because they think he's just Mirror Master. But now he's pretending he has a broken wrist. So they don't recognize the bracelet. So he can't go on the mission. But he goes anyway, one-armed. He's trying to play both ends of it here. And so their squad is on to him, and they basically scare the hell out of him. They catch him in both costumes. And this is basically a scared straight moment, like, hey, no more playing around, Boomerang, or you're done. I'll go with you until I can figure out a way to get some of my own back, you bleeding bike. So they teach him a lesson using the Loa, this zombie criminal cartel who isn't supposed to really exist, but here at the end we see they actually do exist. So that's a subplot for later. And here we have issue 21, Rogues. So Deadshot's going to go off the reservation at some point here. We have a neat little backup story in here by Peter Krause, who was new in the game at this point. Pretty cool. I like a Bronze Tiger story. Yeah, so that was in the middle of the book. And now we're back to our regular story. And here's where we have the starting of the people getting pied. Very cool. There's a mystery that runs through about maybe 10 or 15 issues of people just getting pied. And you don't know who the mad pie person is who's pieing these people. So I said Deadshot goes off the reservation. It's really Rick Flag who goes off the reservation. And then Deadshot is sent to clean the mess up. Rick Flag actually murders this crooked politician who was trying to blackmail Waller with the information he had on the squad. And Rick Flag ends it by killing him. But now Rick Flag's on the loose, a murderer. He's killed a senator. And so they have to go get him, bring the loose cannon back. And so they're all hunting for him. And nice panel here, I like that. Very good. These two develop a romance. So this is after the events of the Deadshot limited series, which again I should have put in this collection. So he's kind of hallucinating that Rick Flag is his brother Eddie, who's dead now. I believe he killed him. So here's another guy with dirt on the squad. Who he's a crooked congressman, and Flag's gonna kill him too. Tolliver, I think, was not a senator. Tolliver was he was some kind of government liaison or mid-level federal bureaucrat. Cray is the actual representative, and Deadshot solved the problem of preventing Flag from killing him by killing Cray himself. So that takes care of that. Flag runs away. Deadshot stays to face the music, and in this awesome panel sequence, he is literally riddled with bullets. But he lives. He's in the hospital recovering. Well, we'll talk on this some other time. You just concentrate on getting well, you hear? I want you healthy when I kill you myself. That's classic Wall there. So here we have the Invasion tie-in, which was a big DC Universe event. Very cool. fighting the aliens. This is a big, again, Lashina / Duchess gets to strut her stuff in this big fight sequence. Gorgeous, again, gorgeous art here on Phantom Girl, who she does have kind of a thing for Tom Tresser, Nemesis. I don't know if it's sort of maybe unrequited. They're sort of like jousting back and forth a little bit. She also has a thing for Rick Flag, and he's on the run now. So there's a lot of complicated subplots and interrelations going on here. And issue 24, Slings and Arrows. Again, our creative crew still going strong. So yeah, the squad goes to Africa for this one. Boomerang, because of his past malfeasance, has a bracelet again. And Luke McDonnell would leave the book very soon to take over art on the Phantom title, which was a brand new title, and he'd always wanted to work on the Phantom, and that's why he left. So we're going to be having an art change here in a couple of issues. We have the first appearance of Punch and Judy on the team, which is, they're goofy and cool. I love, love, love this house ad. It would be such a great poster. Oh, so cool. Let me just make sure this isn't Kessel. Carl Kessel is back as our inker on this. I should have known. Yeah, so Bob Lewis is off the inks and Carl Kessel's back as the inker. And I love this. This is squad art at its best here with Kessel inking Luke McDonnell's pencils. The squad's trying to make a difference here in Africa, rescue this nun, political prisoner. Very cool. And we have that's it. Luke McDonnell exits. And Grant Meme is here for a fill-in. He's here for the next couple issues. And again, I love Grant Meme. Superb artist. I would have been just as happy if he would have taken over as the regular pencil. Great artist. Carl Kessel finishing. So it looks great. Very cool. Count Vertigo. Here they were going to turn on Shade and Vixen, but Duchess, for her own reasons, gets them back in line. Be not afraid, for lo, I bring you words of great joy. So great, awesome turn of a phrase there in that biblical story. But yet she is a demonic savior. Very cool. Great action sequence here. Count Vertigo making everyone crazy. And here we have another death. We have Shrike, who's operative for this mission, is murdered. She is killed in action, KIA. And Wall has manipulated herself back in charge. And then this issue, 26, really moving issue. Grant Meme, Carl Kessel again. Stone Cold Dead, totally awesome. So in Quarak, which is a terrorist haven, they're breeding a new jihad, a new team of super criminals. And here Rustum, who survived the Manhattan incident a few issues back, is in charge. And so Rick Flag realizes that the only way to solve the problem in Quarak is to go and handle it himself. So we'll be back at the scene of Jotunheim, where the squad started in issues 1 and 2. Love this sequence here. This is an early appearance of Oracle, which is totally great. Again, John Ostrander taking a character like Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, who was paralyzed and tortured by the Joker, and now a paraplegic, empowering her by making her Oracle, this incredible computer genius who allies with the squad, eventually becomes an aide to them. And look at this beautiful panel arrangement here. This is totally, I'm certain that John Ostrander didn't call for this in the script, but maybe Grant Meme ad-libbed it. It's beautiful, and it shows their budding romance. And of course, she gets pied. The Mad Pyre is on the loose. Mind Boggler, is she back? No, she's still trapped as Ifrit. So we have a few other subplots that are going to be tied up here. And then we get, in the form of a letter, a very sad letter from Rick Flag, sending it to Phantom Girl about what he's going to do. Eve. So we get a quick recounting of the history of the squad, how the original squad went to Jotunheim but didn't finish the job, and now the rest is Rick Flag doing what he has to do. I've got a new primer and a timing device. With luck, I'll be able to set off the bomb from inside. Pray for me, Eve. So here he is. There's that Nazi bomb. It was never set off. It's still there. Meanwhile, Rustum, in this series of, again, no exposition, no dialogue. Just incredible storytelling and brutal combat. Until, say goodbye, you son of a... Boom. Everything goes. Everything is destroyed. You get a cool house ad for the Janus Directive, which is going to cross over into so many books. I could have never fit that many books in one of these collections, so I didn't even try. And then we have the sad ending of Rick Flag for, I guess, almost 20 years until eventually John Ostrander finagles a way to bring him back. But he's dead for quite some time. Stone cold dead, according to that issue. And here we have issue 27, 1989, the Janus Directive. And this is the debut of new series artist, layout artist in residence, John K. Snyder. And the guest finisher is Pablo Marcos. And this is a pretty phenomenal combination of artists here. Pablo Marcos, his solid lines melding with the looser line of John K. Snyder III. And John K. Snyder III's brilliant layouts. We have Punch and Julie again, Vertigo. Really cool. So they're going to fight the 4th of July, which is an old Outsiders villain group. Really cool here. Oh, I love this shadow panel. So we get some great action. Duchess can duke it out with Major Force here. And Bronze Tiger comes along and helps, and she didn't want that help. And we have the Medusa mask. That's going to be important later in the Janus Directive. Overloads this guy's heart, kills him, collects the mask. Mayflower is killed by Robin. 1,000 years more, O Kali. And then we have a Boomer Butt's getting his butt kicked by this duplicating character until Punch and Julie show up and bail him out. Bleeding yuppies. And Dr. Light kills the Sparkler kid. And Briscoe and Shiva get in on the action too. So we're having a rivalry in this series between the different super agencies like Checkmate and, of course, Suicide Squad, and the forces working with Captain Atom, who works with the military. Oh, and what do we have here? Suicide notes, and we have a letter from an adoring fan from Pittsburgh. Oh, it's me, Scott R. Pyle, and my old home address here. I'm writing to inform you what a wonderful annual you helped produce. Many times, a book's first annual can be a trying experience. But as I've come to expect, Suicide Squad Annual #1 was excellent. I missed my favorite member, Deadshot. However, Rick Flag's all-business attitude helped somewhat. It was great finally knowing exactly what Argent is or was, and seeing the squad go up against the forces of Cobra. And I go on to gush about the artwork. And so this would be one of 6 or 7 letters I would get printed in Suicide Squad's letter column from this point on. So I was ecstatic when I picked this up off the stands. By this time, I love the series so much, I was buying 2 issues to try and support. I was buying 2 copies a month to try and support the title. So, okay, on to 28. Totally awesome Carl Kessel cover. Man, that's that good with Peacemaker. He makes his appearance. And we have Kim Yale and John Ostrander are the writers. John K. Snyder layouts, Carl Kessel finishes. So Kessel's back as the finisher over these John K. Snyder layouts. This is some of the best work in the series, I think, so far. It's just tremendous. It's so good. And again, Janus Directive, really cool seeing some of these characters you don't normally see together, fighting each other, working together. Peacemaker versus Major Force, that horrible, terrible, I mean, the things he does are just terrible, villain. But he's an operative of the government at this point. Very powerful character. And here we have the squad on scene, doing their thing. And again, awesome. Duchess / Lashina going at it with a heavy hitter like Major Force and hand to hand. She's a badass. Love the way they draw Shade's powers here too. It's so awesome. That M vest he uses focuses someone's fear into physical force. And here, crack, she puts him down. They're going at it still. Crack again, she finishes. Love this sound effect here. Badoom. So yeah, just awesome, awesome stuff. Rose and Thorn. Really cool. And Cobra is the big bad behind everything. So yeah, I do not have a letter printed in issue 28. I don't think I ever had consecutive letters printed. There was always a healthy group of letter writers to Suicide Squad. We're back in issue 29 and part 8 of the Janus Directive. And once again, John K. Snyder's doing the layouts, but Pablo Marcos is back as guest finisher. So I don't think Kessel lasts long after this. I think he kind of moves on and sort of sets the stage for Jeff Ursherwood to come on the book at some point soon here. Love these fight sequences. Oh, that Peacemaker is really cool. Yeah, nice, almost full page fight sequence here with this little inset panel. Boom, and use of another great sound effect. So all of these forces are fighting each other, being manipulated by Cobra. I love these 4 long panels here. Really nice storytelling by John K. Snyder. Great. Firestorm shows up and goes against Major Force, 2 heavy hitters. 4th of July. So he actually is going to work with the squad too. That's Major Victory. Yeah, we got Uncle Elvis letter here. Now I'm catching myself looking for my letters as we move forward. I never wrote down all the issues I had letters in, but we'll encounter them as we move along. Okay, issue 30, again, part 10 of the Janus Directive, Endgame. So this is the conclusion. And we have Carl Kessel back on inks and finishes here. So very cool. Can Cobra be stopped? I'm flying now because we've been going a while. I just love this so much. It's hard for me to rush it, but I think you folks are getting the idea of how great these stories are. Well worth tracking down if you can. If you can find these in dollar bins, scoop them up. They're just around here in the Pittsburgh area. They're a little rarer in dollar bins, so. Yeah. This is a great one, a personal file story. This is one of the best. John Snyder does all the art, and it's from the perspective of Father Kramer, who is the actual, the Suicide Squad team actually had a chaplain, and he was that chaplain. And this is a beautiful story. It really is. Lot of plot threads here. So the Loa is introduced as an actual threat here. Look at this sequence where this person who has knowledge of the Loa is basically combusted or incinerated right in front of the Wall's eyes. So now they know possible threat there. That's going to pay off later. There's Safosky, the gay support team member. Kramer is ministering to him. Really, what a lovely character Father Kramer was. Here we have Major Victory's now a member of the team because all of his other teammates are dead. And he knows that Dr. Light killed Sparkler. Starting with that murder, the one who slaughtered one of the finest, bravest young men has ever been my privilege to know. So, yeah. And Duchess, again, breaks it up for her own reasons. And then she's, another person's been pied, so. We get a funny moment here. And Captain Boomerang shows up and tries to offer her Sakura, but he's really just trying to make a move on her. And then Dr. Light pies himself to be a member because he wants to feel like a member of the team. Here we have Kramer, Father Kramer, counseling Count Vertigo about possible suicide. And this is a very cool hint about what's to come. Get Barda. So Duchess has a list that she dropped during the fracas. And there it is going out right there. Or maybe that's it right there. And Father Kramer finds it, and there's a lot of names on there. So Duchess is up to something, and we know she has been since the confrontation with the Wall. Here they're talking about suicide, which is a theme of the series. Death and suicide are themes throughout the series. We have some cool background on Amanda Waller, getting more into what makes her tick. And then finally, Dr. Light was really pied. No, you don't see. No one will believe I didn't do it myself. This is useless. Worse, it's humiliating. There's just no pleasing some people. Totally great. So, phenomenal issue. Really cool. Letter from Uncle Elvis. He was a frequent letter hack in the squad pages. Getting towards the end here, folks. Issue 32, I think, is going to be our final issue. And it's another great Grant meme fill-in. K.S. Wilson and Kevin Phillips inks. Love Grant meme style here. So this is our squad team for the mission. They're heading into Tehran, Iran. Major Victory's part of the team now. And Bronze Tiger teaches him a lesson. He says, I'll lead this team. Bronze Tiger doesn't even have any powers, and Bronze Tiger teaches him a lesson. This is a little one-shot mission. Great how these guys are most afraid of the Ayatollah, which is cool with his M-Vest, the vision his M-Vest summons up. Here he is, Major Victory, kicking some butt here. Such a difference between Grant Meme's pencils inked by K.S. Wilson versus being inked by Carl Kessel. Of course, Carl Kessel, I love his final line that he puts on the art. It's just tremendous. And here, at the end, after the mission, or while it was on, because I don't think Lashina was on that mission. She was MIA, because she was going to fetch Big Barda from New Hampshire. And here she is. Okay, Barda, time to stop playing Hausfrau. I'm returning to Apocalypse, and you're helping me get there. You and a few other volunteers. So that's where we're going to pick up with issue 33, Back to Apocalypse. So tremendous end there to our series this collection here. And yeah, I'm not going to linger on too long because boy, this has gone a while. But I'm sure glad you spent the time with me. I do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, tell your friends, and I'll bring you more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.